Each of the candidates now will get a rather tough and challenging question, and I'll start with Senator Connor. And then you'll have 2 minutes to answer the question, a minute for Mr. Squadron, and a 30-second response from Senator Connor. As a 30-year incumbent, you have both the benefit and detriment of a legislative record. In 1999, you voted to repeal the commuter tax, costing the city billions of dollars in necessary tax revenue, allegedly as a part of a political deal to win a state Senate seat in Rockland County. In 2003, you were one of only 4 senators to vote against a ban on smoking in bars, restaurants, and places of employment. The specific bill that you opposed was signed into law by Governor Pataki. Could you explain why you voted that way on those 2 important issues?
Sure. And I don't know if I can do it in that time, but let's talk about the smoking ban. Let's talk about the smoking ban. I have the debate here, and I have the literature my opponent sent. He says I got 2 checks from R.J. Reynolds. There was one for $550 about 9 years ago when I was leader. I didn't know it was supposed to be returned. My staff handled it. Whole list from the New York State beer wholesalers. I don't know what they had to do with it, but I assure you I'll never vote for a ban on selling beer in bars. You have my commitment. But the politics we're in, and we're seeing the same old politics that we ought to reject, of simple gotcha politics. He voted like this. Oh, back 8 years before, somebody gave a contribution to his committee. I reject. Legislating involves substance. It involves reasons. Here is the transcript of my debate on the smoking ban bill. Point 1 was I objected to the bill because I read bills. It had a grandfather clause for 5 named cigar bars where Rudy Giuliani hung out every night. And I objected to that. Do you think it was easy being one of 4 people to vote against something that popular? But I thought it was wrong for Rudy Giuliani, and I say it in the transcript that if any of the researchers who write this stuff had bothered to care about real legislation and thinking about it, they would have read this. I then went on to denounce the tobacco industry. I suggest that we investigate a way to do a ban on smoking over time with large public expenditures to cure people of their addiction. I said a lot in this debate, and I never said, and I objected frankly to the preemption of New York City's law, which I thought was a better law. My concern was New York City's law let a tavern or restaurant have a totally secure, separately ventilated room for smoking. Employees didn't have to go in. And I said, you're going to have complaints of 2 and 3 in the morning, drunken smokers hanging outside of bars, making noise and disturbing neighbors. And I get complaints every week on the Lower East Side because that's exactly what's happening. Okay. But I gave a thoughtful response, and then I voted. And to play this gotcha, oh, he must have done it because somebody went to a fundraiser 8 years ago. Is that what we want in a legislator? Or do we want someone who reads the bill and cares that there's a little contract in it to let Rudy Giuliani's 5 cigar bars be exempt and grandfathered for all time?
Okay. All right. I'm going to get back to the commuter tax in a minute, but well, you know, I'm going to get back to that. So, Mr. Squadron?
When it comes to the smoking ban, the fact is the American Cancer Society, the American Lung Association, the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids supported this bill. Senator Connor didn't. And at the end of the day, the idea of a full smoking ban, I've heard a couple of contradictory explanations. Frankly, at the time, Senator Connor compared it to suggesting exactly how many legumes can be served in restaurants. Has suggested the preemption of the city. There's a number of different possible explanations that he's given. The fact is, this was a bill that was supported by the leading anti-smoking advocates in America. 4 Democrats voted against it, and Senator Connor was one of them, and I think that speaks for itself.